Welcome back to the Stay Hype podcast, where I help you heighten your personal experience through my own experience on this earth. I'm your host, Kristen, and we are back with another episode: Integration, how to embody the version of you that you want to be. Integration. What is it? Let's talk about it. So, as you know, I love to just jump right in on today's topics. But we're going to be discussing integration and embodiment, what that is. And I want to give you some tips and practices that I have put into place in my own life that can help you start embodying this new version. So this our future is created in the present, right? So the practices and the routines and the values and the mindset that we have right now is directly correlated to where we are in the future. And so I know so many of you are on your spiritual awakening. You are ascending. You are waking up to your purpose, your mission, and why you are on this planet, and all the change, while you can see the benefit in it, and obviously you're becoming a better version of yourself, the fear of the change and having to be more visible, having to step in and start really embodying this leader, this entrepreneur, this, grounded, calm, peaceful, responsive and less reactive version of you that I know a lot of us are, stepping into. That takes practice, that takes work, and it takes actually integrating what you have learned on your journey thus far and what you continue to learn every single day into your everyday life and start actually embodying and taking action in becoming who you want to be. One of the number one questions that I get from my clients during my coaching calls um, is they say, I intellectually understand the concepts of why these abandonment issues, for example, have affected me and why I showed up in relationships this way, or why I feel this way about myself, why I feel unworthy. But where I feel stuck is, how do I start feeling better with what I know? I know why. I know it's not my fault. I know I wasn't, uh, I'm worthy. I wasn't deserving of being abandoned. I know this, but how do I feel better in my body? How do I connect my mind and body? Excuse me. Um, and a lot of my clients are in therapy. And I think that's where we're starting to bridge the gap more in our spiritual healing. Is you can intellectualize something over and over again, but until you learn how to actually apply it to make change in your life and to start feeling better, then it's just a bunch of words. It's just a bunch of concepts. It's just a bunch of theories until we actually apply it. And so how do we start embodying this version of us even when we don't feel confident yet, even when we don't believe it? And so for me, it started a lot in meditation in the morning and the affirmations. I became very hyper aware of my thoughts a couple of years ago. And I did that by slowing down. I did that by isolating myself. I did that by less distractions, by turning off my phone, by turning off the TV, and just being with my thoughts and actually allowing myself to hear myself. And what I heard was really disappointing and upsetting and shameful and guilt and all these low vibrational feelings that I didn't realize I was still carrying, that was making it impossible for me to embody this confident, secure, successful woman that I know I am and that I could always have wanted to be. And so I first started to reprogram my own thoughts. And so when things would come up where I would typically just say, I'm stupid. Oh, that was so stupid. I would catch myself in the moment and say, I am not stupid. I made a mistake. This is something that I didn't know how to do, and I need some help. I rephrased these things that I would say about myself because I realized how much these subconscious thoughts were impacting my life in a negative way. And so I knew that Even if I had my body in tip top shape, even if I had the perfect partner, even if I have all these beautiful friends, if I'm still internally thinking that I'm stupid, that I'm not enough, none of that is going to be able to create the happiness and help me embody the version of me that loves herself, you know? And so that's when I realized that it really is such a personal job, the pursuit of happiness. It really is. And we have to first get to the root of what's making us so unhappy. We first have to get to the root of why we're so sad. We first have to get to the point of being able to admit and accept that this is the reality of where we're at in our lives right now. So many of us don't realize how we subconsciously lie every single day and pretend that we're happy when we're not. So, you know, when you've gotten to the point where you've done this work and you have gotten to the truth and you understand why you work the way that you work, you then have to take that extra step. And this is where a lot of people get stuck and they're teetering on the edge of the cliff. Because now I got to stop talking about it and I have to start walking. I actually have to start going for my dreams. I actually have to start having standards in relationships and I have to say no. Um, when someone wants to take me out, if I don't feel in my body that it's in alignment with where I want to go, I actually have to say no. I actually have to start having these difficult conversations with my family members. I actually have to set boundaries with friends and not worry about how it's going to impact them, but more about how it's impacting me by not. That is how we start embodying it, by doing the uncomfortable things that we have run from our entire lives. We have to be something different if we want something different to come to fruition. And that takes courage. That takes putting the fear aside and still doing it anyway. That takes being seen. That takes being heard. That takes being the version of us that knows we are worth the love and support that's going to come with being honest with who we are. And I'm telling you, the love and the support that is poured into me, the more authentic I get, the more love comes into my life. It's wild. The more honest I get about my shortcomings, my flaws, the things that have happened to me, my shame, my guilt, my pain, the more honest I talk about it just like this, the more free I feel. The more I feel like I'm embodying who I've always have been meant to be, which is myself. And that's what I'm saying. We overcomplicate it. We try to sit and think, who is it? Who am I? Who is it? Just start being real about your opinions, about your experiences, about the things that make you happy, even if it's not societally normal, even if it's taboo. Get honest about your fears, even if you think that is stupid, even if you see someone else that's doing something close to what you want to do and they don't seem to have any fears. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't have any fears, and it doesn't mean that they don't. It just means that the fears are always going to exist, but we still have to embody and step in anyway. It's only uncomfortable until it's not. Me first starting this podcast 20 episodes ago, I was so nervous. I was so in my head. Now it's a place that I come to be even more myself. A platform, a space, a digital diary to embody even more who I am. You can create that within yourself as well. And it's just, this is why I love this work and I love what I do and I love coaching clients and I love what I'm about to do in the ways that I'm stepping in with my music, writing my book, continuing, and now, really opening up opportunities for myself to do motivational speaking. And I want everyone to feel this flow. I want everyone to know that they're here for more than just all the lessons. You're here for more than just all the lessons. You're here for the many, many blessings and beautiful experiences that this world also has to offer. And I think that when we get so caught up in our past and our pain, it defines us. And it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to anymore. And yeah, I'm in a space of feeling such a creative shift and flow and transition in my life. And for the first time, I realize that I am not in control, and I'm okay with that. It takes a whole load off. I am not in control. All right. I'm just consciously creating with source, with God, with the universe, and just following my own truth and being brave enough to do so. And I want to help as many people find their courage to do the same, you know? So the integration process starts with getting a clear picture on what happiness even looks like to you, what you even want, right? Who do you want to be? So maybe starting with some journal prompts there. What does happiness look like for me? Don't gaslight yourself. Don't get rid of the inner critic. Don't play small. What does happiness look like? And really think about this, you know? A lot of times we sometimes will say a certain dollar amount or something, but really, is it just financial freedom? Is it just freedom in whatever way that looks like? Don't cap yourself. So really think deeply about these questions. What does happiness look like for me? What does success look like for me personally? Okay. And then once you can answer that, you're kind of creating a blueprint, right? A blueprint on where you want to go. And so then once you know where you want to go, then you start working backwards and you say, what is the first logical and intuitive step in getting to this, creating this life? What do I need to do? Maybe it's changing a mindset. Maybe it's starting to research different jobs. Maybe it is putting yourself back out there on the dating world, whatever it is. It's subjective to you, right? I don't know what that is for you. So once we have that blueprint, and then we start creating the starting point, that starts getting us excited, right? Because once we have written it out and we look at it, we're like, okay. And then once we start making actual tangible steps to get there, it really starts to, you start to program your mind that this really can become a reality. And you realize that you've been overthinking it this whole time. You've been thinking about the end result. You know, if you're a musician, if you want to be a musician, you're thinking about, oh, I already have Capitol Records to sign me, and I'm already creating with all these big this is overwhelming. I'm already learning. No, no, no. Maybe the first step is just simply admitting that you want to be a musician, that you are a musician. Maybe the first step is just actually purchasing the instruments. You know, you see what I'm saying? You're all the way at like getting, Grammys and stuff. You know, that you're gonna get there. You're gonna get the Grammy. But like first, can we just first get the instrument? Can we first just like research some things? Don't overwhelm yourself with the logistics. Don't overwhelm yourself with the actual destination, and be more excited about the journey, like how much you're gonna learn, the mistakes that you're gonna make and learn from, the things that you're gonna get right, the failures that you're gonna have that are not really failures, but just again lessons. And this didn't work, and that didn't work. And as soon as you can change your perspective and your mindset that this is something fun, and take all the pressure of being perfect and just be yourself, then this journey starts to really vibe. You start to realize, oh, this is so fun. I'm just making it way more difficult than it has to be, you know? So we embody who we want to be. We start to step in and integrate what we learn by actually putting it into practice. So if the disempowered version of you always lets people walk all over you and never speaks up because you don't want to be mean, then how do we start embodying the version of you that has boundaries, that demands respect, that is still loving and kind, but also people know that you're not going to be able to just get away with stuff. You're going to respect me. The people in my life love me. Okay? So if you're in my life, you're going to love me and respect me as well. How do we get to that point? We got to do it. And it's uncomfortable. But once you start, it becomes less uncomfortable, and then it just becomes a part of who you are. Hence the embodiment. And now when it comes time to have a difficult conversation, it's not this whole anxiety ridden, oh man, taking up the whole day. How am I going to say this? Disempowered. I'm crying. I'm shaking. Not that that will never happen to you again, but I'm telling you, it'll get easier and easier. You'll be able to go into conversations and say, hey, the way you did this made me feel this. It doesn't have to always be this big catastrophe. It's the meaning that we give to the words and the situations. It's the fear or the lack of fear and now comfort that we have in embodying this version because we've practiced. And then from practicing, all of a sudden, it just became who we were. So that is what I'm currently doing in my life right now, really embodying the woman, the entrepreneur, the soon to be partner, wife, best friend that I've always wanted to be. Someone who is trustworthy, someone who is open to feedback, someone who does not judge, someone who you can be honest with and you know that there's not going to be negative consequences. Someone who is loving and kind, someone who leads with integrity, someone who uh, is creative and feels so safe and free to express herself authentically, someone who is open about her flaws and her shortcomings and knows that doesn't make her any less than. You see? It just flows now. But when you used to ask me this 5 years ago, I would just be like a deer in the headlight. And so I really challenge you to get clear on who you want to be, who you are, where you're going, and really start to create some actionable steps on getting there. Because we're here, right? We don't know when the end is here. We don't know when our final day is. And um, I think if what's going on in the world can teach us anything, there's multiple things that we can learn from what's happening right now, is that life is not promised every single day. And we're not in control of that for sure. That's for sure. And so, what are you going to spend your days doing since life is clearly so precious, as we can see right now? What are you going to spend your time doing? What kind of impact are you going to make? How do you want to step up and make change in this world? That's what we need to be thinking about. How can we contribute to raising the consciousness of this planet? How do we bring more light? How do we educate? How do we help more people heal their pain so that we can stop projecting it? All right. And on that note, that is my time. If the scenery looks different, not if, I know the scenery looks different. And I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the episode for those of you who are watching the visual on YouTube. I'm in Orlando with my mom. We're at a convention, so I'm in the hotel room recording this from you for you guys, and I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that it inspires you. I hope that you know that you're not alone on this journey, and I know how difficult integration and embodiment can be, but it's essential, and it's a place that we often feel stuck because we're being required to go deeper. You're not stuck. You're just being required to go deeper, and that's just a little uncomfortable. All right, but you got this. All right. So if you want to connect with me more, follow my socials at _stay hype. If you want to support the podcast, there's links below to do so. I appreciate all your love and support, sharing this, liking it, subscribing. They all help in so many ways to get this information out to people who need it. And so, yeah, I love you. Let's keep staying hype. Let's keep getting hype. And I'll see you guys next time. I love you. Bye.